A long time ago, in a small village, there lived a poor farmer and his wife. They worked tirelessly every day in the fields, yet life remained difficult. They had no children, and their hearts felt heavy with sorrow. One stormy night, the farmer was walking near his land when he heard the sound of a baby crying. He searched around and discovered a tiny baby boy wrapped in a cloth, lying close to the field. The farmer gently lifted him and carried him home. His wife was shocked, yet overjoyed. "Perhaps this child has been sent to us," she whispered with tears in her eyes. From that moment they raised the boy as their own son. The boy grew up strong, gentle, and helpful. He assisted his parents in the fields, plowing, sowing seeds, and carrying water. Unlike others who grumbled, he worked quietly and patiently. Slowly, the crops in their fields began to thrive more than anyone else's. The grains were larger, and the harvest was always plentiful. But instead of celebrating his success, the villagers grew envious. Some claimed he was using tricks. Others mocked him or damaged his tools. A few even trampled his crops when he wasn't watching. Yet the young man never fought back. He stayed calm, worked harder, and treated everyone with kindness. Then came a year of heavy rains. The river flooded, destroying all the crops. The fields lay bare, and people had nothing left to eat. Children cried from hunger, and families sat in despair. Only one person still had food. The young farmer had stored his grain wisely. He could have kept it for himself, but his heart wouldn't allow it. So at night, while the village slept, he cooked meals and placed them quietly at people's doorsteps. In the morning, the villagers were astonished to find food waiting for them. They had no idea who was helping them, but his generosity kept them alive. Still, during the day, they continued to insult him, never imagining that it was his hands that fed them. One evening, after a long day, the young man sat outside his home and wondered, "Why does goodness receive hatred in return? Why is kindness so often repaid with hurt?" But someone had noticed everything. An elderly villager, too weak to farm but sharp in perception, had watched the young man carrying food in the dark. The next day, when the villagers gathered, the old man stood and said loudly, "You call this young man a cheat? But do you know who has been feeding you every night? It is him." The crowd fell silent. Shame washed over them. For the first time they looked at the young farmer not with jealousy, but with regret. That same night, riders arrived bearing the royal seal. They announced that the king and queen had lost their baby boy years ago during a great storm. They had searched far and wide but never found him. Now, after many years, clues had led them to this very village. When the royal guard examined the young farmer, they found the birthmark the missing prince was said to have. The truth became clear. The king and queen arrived and rushed to embrace him, tears streaming down their faces. The villagers bowed in fear, remembering how cruelly they had treated him. The king, furious, ordered his soldiers to punish the villagers. But the young man knelt before his parents and said, "Father, mother, please spare them. If I forgave them when they hurt me, how can I seek punishment now? Let mercy guide us." The king and queen were deeply moved. The villagers wept, touched by the prince's compassion. From that day onward, he was known not only as the heir to the throne, but also as the Prince of Compassion. His foster parents, the farmer and his wife who had raised him with love, were honored and lived happily in the palace for the rest of their lives. And his story reminded everyone that jealousy and cruelty may rise like storms, but they always fade. What remains is kindness, which leaves behind light, hope, and love.